going to start recording in three, two, one. All right. Welcome to the Bastos Podcast. My name is Camille. I'm here with the lovely Kathleen Damian. All right. So she is very multifaceted and talented in many aspects. So let me just list a few things. She's a singer, she's a songwriter, actress, pageant queen who took part of Miss Filipina International, as well as a spokesperson for Miss Philippine Airlines, and she's also a brand ambassador for clothing line MILA Concepts. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Do you have anything else to add to that?
That was pretty spot on. I do actively participate in a lot of other nonprofit organizations in the Bay Area, so that is also something to highlight.
Philanthropist. Yes, she's very humble as well, as you can see. So there's a lot of ground to cover. Let's start off with what it was like growing up in the Bay Area, and how you basically got started doing what you do.
Yes, growing up in the Bay Area, yeah, I've been born and raised here in the East Bay. I actually spent most of my elementary school until high school in Milpitas, which is in the South Bay area in between Fremont and San Jose. And I actually ended up back in the East Bay after college. And growing up in the Bay has been very, very nice because it's just a melting pot of a lot of different cultures and people and art. And that's just the kind of environment I think that has shaped me into who I am today and the things that I am passionate about. And I love it. I love being able to see that mix of culture and community and creativity in the Bay Area. It's just really awesome. Everybody that I have met here has been very welcoming and very chill and just very down to earth from what I've experienced. And as far as my music goes, I had been singing ever since I was like my parents told me since I was like 3 or 4 years old, and it kind of started with me just singing karaoke at home. And I competed in my school talent show ever since kindergarten. And I would also sing in our school choir in elementary school and was very active in my church choir as well, doing a lot of lecturing and singing with the youth ministry during our youth retreats and confirmation classes.
So you had a lot of
And I would,
practice.
yeah, pretty much. It was just part of my life.
That's great to hear. So what got you started in the music industry? You recently just released La La Land.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. It's like a
Thank
great,
you.
smooth, chill tune.
That's exactly what we were going for. It's funny because it's almost February and we did release it, I believe, sometime in February, just before Valentine's Day, I think.
Nice.
But I was initially reached out to by Izzle, who's the main person who wrote the actual song, like the verses. And I had met him through my nonprofit volunteer organization called Collaboration San Francisco. And Collaboration San Francisco is essentially a platform where local Bay Area musicians, artists, photographers, anything in the creative realm, we kind of put together that platform for people to, have opportunities to work with one another and share their talent, and for us to kind of highlight that, uplift them, and try to make them more part of mainstream media, especially in the Bay Area, where there's not as much Asian American representation in music and the arts. So we were trying to elevate that. That was our main goal as a nonprofit, and it's still going right now. So
Nice.
he had actually auditioned. At the time, I was a community relations community relations associate during that time with Collaboration SF, and we were hosting a talent showcase. It was our annual talent showcase, and Isle was one of the participants who auditioned, who unfortunately didn't make it to the final rounds. But I just remember his audition. He was very good, like his rapping, his lyrics, like everything. He was a total performer. And as a fellow Filipino as well, I had kept in touch with him through social media, and he knew that I sang through my feed. And one day he just reached out to me and said, like, would you like to work on this song with me? I'm not sure, if, the theme is something you'd be comfortable with. Um, so I'm glad like he, brought up the lyrics to me first and let me listen to it, and let me decide, if it's something I wanted to move forward with as a project. And I said, yeah, like I definitely love to be on this project with you. It sounds really good. And it just gave me the opportunity to work on my songwriting skills, which I'm still kind of trying to develop now. So that was very fun. And he was just really great to work with in person, because originally we had just done Zoom stuff, but because of COVID, it was difficult. So we had to wait quite a while before we were able to meet in person. And the producer as well, his name is Aris Obligar, such an incredible and talented producer who has helped Israel a lot as well. And yeah, it was just an amazing team to work with. And we were also able to film a music video for it in our producer's backyard.
I know it
So that's
seems so
also
cute.
amazing. Thank
I enjoyed
you.
it. Do you have any other musical projects down the line or that you're working on, or are you trying to keep it hush
Yes.
hush?
Really, I mean, I've been trying to get myself to work on more music by myself, just, as a solo artist, but because it's been just so very hectic, I've had to push back a few times, but I'm hoping that I will be accountable and
Yeah,
hopefully be able to put something out solo, hopefully by this year. But I'm also working on another collaboration song with another Filipino rapper from Daly City. His name is Mikey V Official. So that's in the works. I'm so excited to work on that. It's been a while since I put out music, ever since La La Land. So it'll be really fun and challenging, but I look forward to putting that song together with him.
that's amazing. I look forward for that coming out.
Thank you.
So I mean, I know you mentioned how you're trying to push yourself to do more music, but how do you find balance doing everything you do? Because obviously you host parties, you're a philanthropist, and on top
Yes,
of that, you're like a spokesperson for several things, and you also
right.
manage. So how do you find balance doing all of that?
It is pretty hectic, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, it's hard, like, I give props to a lot of people in the creative industry, like, especially, like, DJs, producers, photographers, even content creators, all of that. It's just a very, time-consuming thing, but the things that you're interested and passionate about, you always make time for it. So, but it's also important to set aside time to take care of yourself as well. I know that as a creative, it does get difficult, especially it takes a toll on your mental health, which I always am an advocate for. So, I always try to um, set aside time for myself and take a break if I need to, and then get back on the ground once I have that energy again. And the way I like to organize things is just I like to really plan things out in advance, so at least I have time to like kind of figure things out and block time that I need for myself, as well as just like time with my family, time with my friends, just time to relax and just watch stuff on Netflix.
What are you binging on Netflix right now?
Ooh, so right now I'm actually watching Love is Blind Japan, and it's very interesting. I had watched Love is Blind, like the original, United States version when it came out during pandemic, and it's very different. The Japan version, like I feel like there are a lot of older folks on the show,
Hmm.
and just their culture. It's just very different. Um, the way it's portrayed, at least when they're interacting with each other, and the type of questions that they ask. So that's something that I've been binging. I also finished watching Severance, which is on Apple TV. It's such an interesting concept that my friend actually brought up to me when we were on a trip in LA together. And essentially, the concept is that these people volunteer to work for this employer where your work life is completely separate from your personal life. Like, essentially, when you walk in an elevator for that work, um, your memories are wiped out and you only remember things from the previous work day. So you don't take anything home with you, which is very, very interesting.
Shoot.
So, yes.
I need some of that sometimes, to be honest.
Right. But it's crazy, actually, like what goes on and like just how that dynamic works as the show unfolds. Um, there is just season one right now, but I believe they have been filming the season two, so I'm looking forward to it. I do recommend it. The beginning is a little bit slow, but the ending, like you just gotta keep going until the ending, and that's where it really hooks you in.
Yeah. What other ways do you find balance with your hectic lifestyle?
Um, I love to journal. Um, and it is one of the ways that I like to unwind. And one of my close friends, her name is Bianca. She really curates these monthly journaling calendars, and I actually worked with her for the month of, was it November or December last year? Like I helped her put together like a playlist that matches the journal theme for that month, and it's just very nice like to have different prompts every day to kind of reflect on and just take some time to be self-aware and like really understand where you're at in your life and how you're feeling, and just connecting in that way with yourself, I think is really important, especially through the busyness.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's been highlighted even more ever since the pandemic, where
Right.
we just were hit and bombarded with all these things going on in the world.
Yes.
And it's like, how do you cope? How do we how do we
Yeah.
recover from all of this madness? So I
Right.
find, I feel the same way. Journaling is so important and very important to be in an introspective state every now and then.
Yeah,
That's
it's
beautiful.
definitely important to slow down every now and then, just because the world that we live in is very fast paced and it's very easy to get burnt out. So
Yeah. I
I
mean, tomorrow's
really,
February
yes, I
already.
know. Oh my goodness.
And
It went
geez,
by so fast.
how was your January like? Your first month of 2023?
It's funny actually. I feel like the first few weeks of January were kind of rough. Um, just like, the start of the new year, I still felt a lot of things that were like not done, like from December, that I still had to catch up with. So I kind of like gave myself grace and like slowly went back into like, my routine of like working, after coming from a holiday break after the holidays. So I didn't want to like just woo, like push
Yeah.
myself and like go, go, go. So I did give myself a lot of leeway to slowly get back into the routine of going back to work, and just going back to performing and signing up for gigs again, and just like connecting and resetting. So it's been good. Like I had the opportunity to perform at this exhibit, or it was part of the exhibit. It was a closing reception for Malaya South Bay's Golden Years martial law exhibit, which was in the San Jose State University Library. So I was able to perform for their closing ceremony, and it was really, really awesome. I was able to hear from a few speakers who actually had like relatives that were unfortunately part of um the killings during the martial law period in the
Oh my
Philippines.
gosh.
So it was very, eye-opening just to hear like the historical importance of, why we have this exhibit and why it's important to, even if we're from the US, these things still affect us that are happening in the Philippines. So, I really try to keep myself informed and just aware of, what's happening there and make sure that I spread the word to, the people that I know here, um, because it is important, even though it's, it could be controversial or, very political. Like I still try to keep myself open to learning more about, our history and our culture like that.
Yeah, definitely. I know it does have a big impact in our culture as well, because those themes have impacted the way our parents or grandparents were raised, for example. So those are things
Right.
that still impact how they treated us growing up. So yeah, I think it's very important to keep that in the back of your mind as well.
Mhm. Yeah, so that was very fun.
Yeah, so let's highlight your pageant life. What got you started in participating in that, and what was the process like for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, joining the pageant was just something that I did on a whim. Like, I had never envisioned myself joining a pageant, and, especially so I guess late for someone doing a pageant. Like, I'm more towards the end of the age bracket to join the pageant for this one. But I told myself, when am I ever gonna have the opportunity to join a pageant again? So I said, I'm going to just do it.
Yeah.
No expectations, just have the experience and just really see what will happen. And it was a pretty easy process to actually join. I had been like recruited on Instagram by a recruiter directly from the pageant, and from there we had set up like a call with the director at that time, and we just went over the qualifications and the setting of expectations and the list of required events that you would have to attend and things like that. So I was, you know, preparing for what I would have to prepare for. But I was very lucky because I was able to prepare for a couple of good months, actually, almost a year. I'd say like about 8 months before the actual pageant in July happened, because I accepted my candidacy back in September of 2022. Yeah, or no, 2021.
Wow. And then
Mhm,
did that open other venues for you? Did that give you other opportunities to participate in other things? For example, was that part of you participating in Philippine Airlines, or was that something
mhm.
completely different?
Oh, yeah. So, my pageant experience, it was really fun. It was also definitely challenging. Oh, sorry, I veered from the question. But yeah, like doing the pageant itself, although I didn't win, the title, I did win a few awards, but I mean, regardless of you taking home like the title or the crown or any awards, like um the experience itself was very rewarding, at least in my experience. Um and it did lead to other opportunities, actually. I was interviewed by a magazine called Lotus Magazine, which is run by Asian American students who go to school in San Diego. And it was really awesome. Like, I was able to also speak more on my experience, and yeah, like I believe that me joining that pageant and just being a candidate has led to other opportunities. So I'm super grateful to have that with me along with my experience, and just it really did push me to see like what my limits are, like especially just like when it comes to like my mental capacity and like my physical fitness. Like I had gone to the gym so many times during that 8 months. Like I didn't know how strong I was. I didn't know that I had the discipline to follow like macros and things like that that I had never, been exposed to before. So it did really teach me a lot of different things that I don't think I would have participated in if I hadn't joined the pageant. So and the girls were really great. Like we were all very nice and friendly. Like I actually was one of the main people to find other candidates before they were announced, and I made a group chat for all of us on Instagram. So that did make things a lot more smooth when we met actually for the first time in person, since we had that group chat um, virtually. So I was really happy about that. I was able to put a face to a name to all the girls that I had slowly added to our group chat together. And they made the experience so much fun. I really
Nice.
miss being able to spend that time with them, especially during our rehearsals and our events. And now we just see each other on Instagram.
Nice. So there wasn't any animosity or anything behind the scenes, or was it all
Mhm.
overall a positive experience for you?
Yeah, I mean, overall, it was a positive experience for me. I mean, of course, there's always, like the sadness or disappointment of not winning, but I mean, it's a competition, so
Right.
obviously there has to be a winner. But other than that, I think that, it was worth it. It was worth me taking a chance and just really going out of my comfort zone to try something new. And I was really happy that I was able to do that.
Is it something that you would dabble in again, or is that like a one-time thing?
I I have considered joining other pageants as well, but at this time, just because it does take so much time and a lot of effort, I did want to focus my free time more on my music, so that's the direction that I'm going in right now.
Nice. So you've also hosted big parties over there in the Bay Area. Have you
Mhm.
also hosted parties on the East Coast?
I actually have not. Hosting actually was just something that I also wanted to try for fun.
Yeah.
You wouldn't really know, but I mean, maybe you could tell through the conversation now, but I'm pretty introverted. But like with all the things that I do, you wouldn't think that I'm introverted, I guess, but
No, it's
I
because
am
I'm a
really
Cancer.
shy.
I make people open up. That's why.
Aw, aw.
Yeah.
I'm a Scorpio, so I don't know if that helps or adds any context, but yeah. So I mean, back to hosting, I think that here it really depends on the type of like place that you go to, and depending on the DJs and what kind of music you're into. I think that also sets the tone for the experience that you're gonna have. Um, but even, like, I haven't really been to anything, like, in Vegas when I turned 21. That wasn't really my scene.
Hmm.
I'm more of a person that supports, DJs because, they're my friends or they're DJs that I really, like, love to listen to. I love their creative expression with, the type of music that they mix together and, the type of vibe that they create. So for me, like, I really love a mixture of like electronic, but like mixed with like current hip hop and pop um, and dance, like those types of music I love.
Yeah.
So, yes. So I wouldn't really be able to compare the party scene to the East Coast because I haven't actually really been out there and experienced that scene over there. I actually haven't been to the East Coast since I don't know, like elementary school? So I am due for a trip.
Yeah. And you've been mainly based out of the Bay Area. Have you explored other parts of the country and
Mhm.
wanted to venture out?
Like in general, I have traveled to outside of the country. But I forgot to mention, like I have experienced like the party scene back in SoCal. Like I went to college in San Diego. So I have had my fair share of like experiences. I would say it's almost pretty similar to like what we have here in the Bay Area. But like for example, if I were to go to the East Coast, I don't think that, they would get excited to like hear like, the OG like high CE40 stuff.
Yeah,
You know what I
for
mean?
sure.
Like it's just so different. Like when they play that stuff here, like we all go crazy. But if you were to go to the East Coast, they'd be like, "What is this girl doing?"
Totally
Like,
feel you on
you
that.
obviously are not from here or something.
Oh yeah, I guess it's good to make yourself big where you're at, right?
Right.
So let's go over and talk about your collaboration with MILA clothing brand. What's
Mhm.
your
Yeah,
experience with that so far?
it's been so fun. And actually, I think I got that opportunity because I stumbled upon the brand just like on my Instagram feed one day, and I looked into the brand and I said, "Wow, like this person, he's Filipino, like the owner. It's a very small business. Like he does it literally in his own apartment, and I wanted to support him because the brand is something that represents, his mom. And he has the brand to honor his mom who had passed due to cancer. And I was very touched by that story. And I'm always a supporter of like small businesses and like minority owned businesses especially. So
Oh yeah,
I
most
actually
definitely.
DM yeah, so I actually DM the Mila Concepts Instagram and I said, "Hey, like, do you want any help? Like, do you need promotion or, like word of mouth? Like, what can I do to help grow this brand or promote it? Because I really love what you're doing and I love what it stands for. And the clothes are really nice." So I took that chance and Lawrence is he's the founder of Mila Concepts. He was open to working with me as a volunteer, so I was very grateful for that. And from there, like we just really developed like a friendship, and I've been able to help him just like with ideas on, what to put out, what kind of designs would look good, what colors to use. And we even collaborated earlier last year to put together a mental health fundraiser for my birthday.
Oh wow.
And yeah, so we put out a tote bag and a t-shirt. And basically, it was like an affirmation shirt that said on the back it said may nagmamahal sa iyo, which translates to there's someone out there who loves you.
Oh
So
my
again
heart.
it right, like it's always good to hear those words, especially when you're not in the right mental state. So I wanted to work with MILA to promote, mental health awareness, especially in the Filipino community. So we did donate all of our proceeds, or a good chunk of proceeds, to the Filipino Mental Health Initiative of San Francisco, and I believe we raised $300 just through that pre-order sale. And I believe we're supposed to put out another round of that. Um, we just haven't had the chance to do
Sign me
that.
up. Sign me up for the next round for sure.
Yeah, like I love that tote bag and design. It has like a sampaguita flower, which I wanted to incorporate, the Filipino flower.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it's so fun. Like I've always wanted to have my own clothing brand. So for me to just help Lawrence out with Mila Concepts, like it's been such a fun experience. Like even if it's not my own, like I'm still very happy with, being able to provide that input and just really promote the brand like to everyone that I know.
I totally see you being a nonprofit owner, like doing
Yeah,
your
that's so
own
funny.
nonprofit foundation. Because
Yeah,
the general theme I'm getting so far is that you love to support various people, and
I
you've been
do.
driven by supporting others, and it really wasn't based on you like wanting to get clout or anything. It's just
Oh,
because
yeah,
you wanted
no.
to support and highlight other people. So
Yeah, I
ideas.
mean, I'm a very giving person. I think
Yeah.
it's just part of who I am. Like, I like to share my blessings with others. I don't keep it to myself. Like, if I can help change something or impact someone else in a positive way, like, I will do it.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
will bring others with me to help me do that. And it's just been great. Like, again, like everybody that I've met just like through the community, like through this podcast, just through everything, like through all the events that I've been part of, like everybody has been such a a really great person to work with, and their values, closely align with mine. So I think that's why like we all have that kind of same spirit and same um, willingness to give back. And yeah, that's the kind of people I like to surround myself with.
That's beautiful. I always like to
Thank you.
share my blessings. If you're abundant, why not share that
Right.
abundance, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So, what would you be doing if you weren't um, dabbling in all these things? Like, what can you imagine what your life would be like if you didn't get into music, if you didn't participate in all the nonprofits and
Right.
things that you do?
Yeah, that's actually a good question, and it's actually one of my friends' journal prompts, or one of the topics that we had mentioned before was, what would parallel universe you be doing right now? And one of the things that I mentioned was I would probably be like a children's book or a young adult author, because I've always been like a really good writer ever since I was young. I loved writing. English was my favorite subject. Even throughout college, like I still kept copies of some of my essays just because I really like, the work that I put into it.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, I would write a lot of poetry. I even had like a picture of one of my first songs that I wrote, which was very funny to look at. Like, I'm like, how did I have these types of feelings at this age? Like, it just makes me laugh.
How old were you for that song?
I'm pretty sure I was in elementary school when I wrote it. So
I was
I like
8
I
talking
laughed.
about deep
Right. It was
topics.
like, oh, like, why did you hurt my feelings like that? It was so funny.
Dang.
I know.
That's
But yeah, I
amazing.
think I would be still, in that creative space. If it weren't for music, I would alternatively be a writer. I would love to write.
I mean, it's still not out of off the table. You could still write your
Right.
book.
Yeah, I totally
I
could.
mean, you recently just turned what, 27?
I
You
did.
have so much. You could
I
write like
do.
several books
Right.
down the line. All right, we're gonna reach the part of our lightning round. Okay, you
Oh,
gotta
okay.
you gotta get ready for this. Okay, first question: what's your
I'm
favorite
ready.
color?
This one is green. Any shade of green. I
I
love
love green.
green and mint.
Green. I agree with that. I approve. All right. So you mentioned that you're a Scorpio. Do you believe in astrology, and do you believe if
Mhm.
it's accurate or not?
I mean, I don't believe in it like super like religiously. Like, I don't know. There are people that really like keep it to a very like they follow everything. But I do definitely think that it's a coincidence for things that I relate to. So, I mean, it is interesting to read about, and I feel like a lot of things I do identify with like as a Scorpio, and like my rising and my moon. So I do. I think it's very interesting, but I don't take it like 100% to heart. But it is fun, like, to look at and relate to those types of memes every now and then. But I do find it a coincidence that I do, like, whenever I ask my friends, like, what are your signs? And um, well, I see that part of that personality come out in you, like, oh, I see. Like, that happens a lot in our conversations when it brought up. So it is interesting.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you have a sun and moon. Do you know them?
I believe I'm a Pisces moon and an Aquarius rising, so very water and what is it? Water and
Airy,
air.
air. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Are you a dog or cat person?
Definitely more dog. I have a dog. His name is Graham. He's a very tiny little feisty one, but I love him.
Nice. Um, and one final question. What are
Yeah.
some words of advice that you would like to leave our audience today?
Whereas advice, I would say that you should live your life and do what you want. Don't let the opinions or judgments from others um, change your perception on anything. Like, stand your ground, be uniquely you, because that's something that can take from you. And when you know who you are, you have power. Like,
Period.
yes. So don't be afraid to set boundaries. Don't be afraid to say no when you need to. Just give yourself that respect and love yourself.
Said with, oh, that was beautiful. Well,
Thank you.
thank you for spending time here with us at the Bastos Podcast. Where can people
Absolutely.
find you? What are the best ways people could
Yeah.
find you online?
You can find me on Instagram at Kathleen, as well as SoundCloud, where I have a lot of covers. And you can find me on Spotify as well. My Spotify name is Kat, K-A-T. And it might be hard to find me, but if you look up Izzle, which is Izzle, and type in La La Land, you should be able to find me through that song La La Land. And I'm also on YouTube. I forgot my handle. I think it's Whoa, it's Kathleen, and I can send you that information.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I'm also on Twitch at Will Kathleen, but I haven't been active since pandemic, but I will try again to be more active.
Girl, same. No, I used to stream a lot before the pandemic, but
Oh,
now that the pandemic's over, work's been super busy as well.
right.
But thank you so much. We enjoyed our
Thank you,
time together.
Camille. Thank you for having me. It was so fun, and I look forward to speaking with you all in the future.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.